Yeah. Sometimes I get so mad, there's no controlling me. My thoughts get so bad, I'm like, I might grab a bat, I don't know. My wrath, my blood boils over like, oh God, here goes. I lost all feeling from my head to my toes. You said some shit that I can't let go, so just stay tuned for the rest of the show. So have you ever felt betrayed? Switches how you see things, realize something needs change. Cause I know you got me fucked up, let me show you what's up. Cause enough is enough. I'll take a face full of pavement just to make a statement. I know there's no turning back. Oh God, adrenaline wasted, so mad I can taste it. I know there's no turning back. I'll do what it takes, I ain't making mistakes like that. I'll play it on your face just to make you go take it.
Hey, I wanted the rest of the song to finish. Hey, Ritzy. Army vet, where have you been? You better still be in here, my little saints, buddy. Hey, Sherry, welcome back. Hi, Ryan. I already said hi, Richie. Ashley, what the hell? What car was that you sent me? Did your friend get into a car accident? That was bad. So you're not at the hospital with them anymore. Okay, I just want to make sure. I hope everyone had a wonderful day. Had a very eventful day. I went vote. I hope y'all went vote. If y'all vote. And I left my license there. And I didn't realize it. And then I went to the eye doctor to get my little bifocal glasses ordered. And I got to get the ones with the lines. Don't laugh at me, okay? It's just the way it is. And it's just how it's got to be. So then I went, ordered my glasses. Oh, no, Ashley. I hope things get better for her. Oh, wow. So I went to get my glasses and then I come home. Mom's like, you left your license at the pool. And I'm like, mother effer, I'm not going back. I am tired. Yeah, I already know I have been mentally drained for the past week or two. That's why I haven't been here around. And I'm just like, no, I'm not. So about 4 o'clock this afternoon, I was like, fuck it. I'm going to walk. I'm not supposed to be walking because I don't have my brace yet for my foot, but I did. I went walk. I went walk 1.8 miles. That's what I did to go get my license. I get there and they're like, oh, your mom came, picked it up for you. And I was like, are you serious? I just walked all the way over here. Yes, please say a prayer for Ashley St. Angel's friend Kate. She was in a very bad car accident. They are admitting her, and she's in very bad condition. So if you pray, please say a prayer. If not, send positive vibes. The picture she sent me did not look pretty. So, needless to say, I walked over there and I walked home and didn't have a license. I mean, I knew where it was. My mom had it, but I walked over there for nothing, and it is what it is. But so we're going to talk about Riley. I haven't talked about him yet. Riley Strain. He was missing from Nashville. He's they found his. Oh yeah, let me say that first thing right away. Everybody wants to see that cyber sleuth shit that came on that I played. If you didn't watch it yet, watch it. They want to talk about TikTokers and YouTubers doing stuff to ruin investigations. I do believe it was a TikToker or someone that was helping a TikToker that found his bank card. So I don't want to hear no bullshit mainstream media about TikTokers or YouTubers doing boots on the ground. Don't want to hear it because you just don't even fucking say it because you just look. The family had a press conference today. For some reason, the sound doesn't start until a few minutes in. And I don't know exactly when because his mouth does move without volume. So I'm going to go ahead and play it, and then the sound will kick in a couple of minutes. I'm not exactly sure what was wrong with the mic, but we'll go ahead and listen to this first since it came out, I think, this morning, and then we'll listen to what Nancy has to say. So remember, there's no sound for a couple of minutes. It's not me. My Richie is so sweet. Come on. I feel so bad for these parents. And the poor mom in the back, she's just trying to hold herself together. It's not easy. Hold on one second, you guys. Can I get a trigger warning, someone, so I can pin it?
Us
Here we go.
and everyone else involved. Our goal is still to bring Riley home. We feel that is still a very pliable goal. We feel like Dave and his team and the volunteers that he knows are very skilled and will help bring this for us. This time, I'm going to turn it over to Dave and let him kind of bring some information to light. If we have questions, have more information, okay?
If you know of the Cajun Navy, they're one hell of a team. If you don't know about the Cajun Navy, look them up. They became a team during Hurricane Katrina when all the people that were stranded in New Orleans needed help to get out. They came together, just a group of men with boats. That's it. And they came together, and now here they are. Katrina was 2005. And here we are, still strong, still going on. If you can support the Cajun Navy, I ask you to. They really, really do amazing work, and they help a lot.
Thank you. Dave?
My name is David Flagg. For those who don't have the spelling, last name is F like Foxtrot, Lagg. And I am the National Director of Operations for the United Cajun Navy. Those of you who may not know, people who in the audience that may not know, we are a disaster response organization. We respond to natural disasters, all over the country. We're formed during Hurricane Katrina when New Orleans was flooded so badly. We had just a bunch of good old boys that had boats and took it upon themselves to go out into the waters of New Orleans and start rescuing people, taking them supplies, et cetera, et cetera. Fast forward to today, our organization has been to almost every major natural disaster in this country, to include Hurricane Michael, Hurricane Ian, the Texas wildfires. We have people there now. The fires in Maui. So that's kind of an brief overview of what we do. We also obviously get involved in missing persons cases. We do search and rescue and focus on providing supplies of whatever nature the people might need them: food, clothing, etc. I was to touch on the reason that we're here today. We were contacted by Riley's family and asked to step up and provide some more resources to this search activity. And we have been pretty much involved from the very first day that we heard about it, which I believe was on Monday, would have been the 10th, 11th, whatever day that was. Um, we've, we've had an airboat here on the river. We've had people involved behind the scenes and following this and understanding what's been happening here with regard to the search efforts of individuals. We felt that it was probably a real good idea for us to step in and organize a structured and organized search activity for this. We also have today we have a hovercraft coming in and a pilot to run that craft. If he gets here early enough, we will be on the river today. And if not, we'll start early tomorrow morning and spend a good bit of time on the river here, assisting in that search. We had an airboat here, and that individual will be returning, I believe, Friday, possibly Saturday. I would reiterate what Riley's father said. Our main focus, obviously, is to find Riley. Our secondary focus is to ensure the safety of the people who are out here searching. If we have folks just out on their own on these very steep and treacherous terrain on the riverbank and other treacherous aspects of this search, we don't know. We don't know what's going on with you. It's not safe. It's real dangerous. So I would encourage any volunteers who have been here and are searching to please come under the umbrella of the United Cajun Navy search. We will be putting together a structured and organized ground search at some point in the near future. I don't have the specific information on that yet, but I will make that information known once I have it. If you do intend to come out and search with us or to continue to search on your own, there are some safety aspects that you need to know. Number one, you need to be wearing some sturdy shoes. You need to have some heavy gloves on and some nitrile or rubber gloves as well. There's a lot of garbage and debris and needles and bodily fluids of one kind or another that are on these riverbanks that you really don't want to be exposed to.
Bring a hazmat
So
suit.
that's
That's
what I would
scary.
ask of you, just for your own safety. And I would also reiterate what Riley's father said. If you all do have questions for the family, please be very, very sensitive about the nature of this incident. As you can imagine, those of you who have children or don't have children, I guess the best advice I could give would be don't ask a question of the family that you would not want to be asked yourself. That's pretty much all I have to say. If there's any questions, I'll be happy to answer. At this point, there is no evidence that I'm aware of that would indicate foul play. Y'all know how it goes on Facebook and social media. There's been a lot of chatter on there about the fact that Riley's debit card was found on the riverbank, and that is prima facie evidence of criminal activity, something of that nature. There, I don't agree with that. Obviously, I'm not the investigator.
You know what I was thinking? If somebody hurt Riley, why would they just throw away his card? Like, most criminals will keep the damn money or try, you know what I mean? Try to use the card. They already had the dude wearing his clean black and white shirt underneath a dirty hoodie. Come on now.
We have a couple of representatives from MMPD here, and I'm sure they have something to say about it. But I would very seriously, at this point, doubt that there's been any criminal activity.
Yes, we feel like they've handled it well. We know that there is an excessive amount of information coming into them that they're having to dissect. You know, it's hard as a parent, as we are now 10, 11, 12 days into this, and we're trying to, find Riley, come up with, an outcome here. And so, yes, as the days drag on, we are frustrated. We know they're doing their job. We've seen what they've got, you know. Um,
we know they're doing things that we haven't been informed about. That's probably with any investigation like this. There's details that they're not going to share with us that we're sure they're working on too. We don't know what all for sure exactly what they've done as far as searches goes. We don't know some of the information but
We're-
that's not to say they haven't done it.
Exactly. And, you know, Dave is kind of an extra resource for us, a point of contact with his foundation, his group, to be able to help us so that we can focus and make sure that we're doing everything as best as possible. It's been hard to, being from out of town, being from 6.5 hours away, to put a structured program together when you don't know everywhere that you're at. You don't know the lay of the land as well. You don't have your family and your resources that are in your hometown to be able to help guide you and lean on to build a organized search. And that has bothered us, and Dave is our answer.
Kind of rewinding a little bit. I know that y'all saw the car footage for the first time potentially. Is there anything significant there that you feel comfortable sharing at this time?
The only thing really that we have seen with our own eyes is in the bar footage would be Riley and his friend going down the stairs just before he exited the bar. His friend turns around and goes back up the stairs. You know, we're not focusing on a lot of the stuff that happened earlier. We're still pushing forward, and we're trying to figure out where he's at now.
I am not able to comment on that at this point. I know that they're still digging through information, so hopefully they'll be able to provide information here, you know, as we move forward. We know that Riley was possibly texting and communicating with multiple people. Again, we don't know the exact people. We don't know the exact timeline, you know, or who the last person was.
Anything right now would kind of be speculation on our part.
Yeah.
Exactly what that was.
You know, no need to muddy the water. So I'm sure the detectives, as information becomes available that is pertinent like that, they will provide to us, and we will share as we can.
And again, we have a couple representatives from the police department here, and that may be a question that you could ask them. Before they come up, there's just, anybody else have questions for the family before I interrupt?
I do. Michelle, the last time you and I spoke, you told me he was here with 50 of his fraternity brothers. Not one of them left the bar to go with him. I know you were close to that with some of his friends as well. What have those conversations been like since?
With the boys. I mean, they're heartbroken also. I mean, he's their best friend. And we love these boys like our own. And it's just as hard on them as it is on us.
And right now, we really are focusing on
Bringing Riley home.
his last point.
He's my best friend. He's everything.
Is that it?
I have a question. Can you tell me how many people are a part of your group who are actually searching around there? Different times that you're searching?
So we are an all volunteer organization. So people who work with us, volunteer with us, have jobs, have families. And so there's at any given time, that number is going to fluctuate. You know, sometimes it might be 2 people and sometimes it might be 200 people. At this point, I am the only boots on the ground for the United Cajun Navy, and that is going to change here very shortly. We're going to get as many people who are associated with our organization involved in this search. The ground search is what I'm referring to. We have a couple representatives from MMPD who'd like to speak with you, but before they do, there's one thing I do want to say. And if I hurt somebody's feelings out there, oh well. I'm a retired Pennsylvania state trooper. There has been a lot of chatter on social media about the police are not handling this investigation properly. They should have done this. If you're not a trained speculation, I've been in constant contact with Detective Chandler. I know that they have been making every effort that they can to bring this investigation, this search to a close. So please, you folks out there on social media, think real hard about what you're going to post before you post it. And that goes as well for posts about the family and about this investigation. You know,
Something went on with social media. I don't know who's saying anything about law enforcement, but whenever he started talking about social media, that mom broke down again. Stop it. Y'all know these families are watching these live streams. Stop being disrespectful and stop with the stupid speculation. It makes no sense and just makes the family hurt more. Thank you.
the family doesn't really need to see posts on social media that say, well, maybe there's a serial killer out there and that's where he chunked him in the water. That's not cool. Anybody got a question for me? Yes, ma'am. Give me the first part of that again. I missed it. Yes, ma'am. Well, like I said, we have 2 boats coming, and that's going to be obviously our water search. This terrain presents a very, very difficult challenge for a ground search. I'm sure y'all have seen on TV that, when there's a field or a wooded area that you have a line of people 2-3 feet apart, everybody just walking through. This is not going to be that. Also, the terrain is going to be very difficult to use any sort of tracking dog. Again, just because it's going to be very difficult to walk. So my goal, and part of the reason that I came down here early today, is so I could get my eyes on the terrain. I hadn't seen it yet, and formulate a plan for that. The plan right now is very loose and informal. We want all the volunteers to meet up with me before we go out. And probably about the only way that really and effectively be able to do this is put people in 2s and 3s, potentially 4s. We are working on getting some supplies, ropes, etc., that are going to enable these people to safely traverse this terrain. If there's anybody out there who would like to contribute to that effort, please feel free to go on our website. Thank you, which is UnitedCajunNavy.org. And there's a donate button. You can feel free to donate there. But that's my next step, is to get the supplies.
The link that I put in the channel just a little couple of minutes ago, that is the link. If you click on the link, it has a bunch of boxes up at the top. And I think the last one's donate if you would like to. I'm just explaining. I did post the link.
And the equipment that's needed to be able to conduct this search safely. And that's, as far as the plan goes, that's all we have right now. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am. Okay. Yeah. Yes and yes to your questions. At this point, we're going to focus on the riverbank area and the water, because that appears to be the last place where Riley was seen. We have the last video footage that we have of him, I believe, is from this camera. Is that right? From this camera on this building here, and video footage from surveillance cameras all around the area do not indicate that he ever came up this way or up the steps by the courthouse or anything of that nature there. The last video is of him going underneath this bridge right here, and that's pretty much it. Now, that doesn't mean that we won't do some canvassing of the homeless encampments and the downtown area where there may be other homeless people, simply to see if we can pull out any other information. Speaking of which, if there is anybody out there that has any information about this, please step forward and get in touch with me. You can reach out to me on our Facebook page, which is simply United Cajun Navy on Facebook. If you are scared or concerned about the nature of your information, come and get hold of me anyway. All right. Our main goal here is to bring Riley home.
Is there like an email that volunteers respond to this stuff, or is it just kind of a message on Facebook?
Yes, our you can message us on Facebook, and our email address is info@unitedcajunnavy.org, and that's United Cajun is CAJUNNAVY, UnitedCajunNavy.org. Anybody else, gentlemen?
I'm Detective Anthony Chandler. This is Sergeant Bob Nilsson. We're with the Homicide Cold Case Unit for Metro Nashville Police, and we've been heading up the investigation into Riley's disappearance. As Mr. Flagg said, we've been in contact with him since the very beginning, coordinating what we could as far as with the family's active participation in locating Riley. That has been, and to this day remains, the top priority. There has not been any evidence that has come forward to change this to an ongoing criminal investigation at this time. Regardless of what else has been put out there, there are several leads that we are following up with on a constant basis, and an influx of information is coming forward at all times. We are going through every single piece of that information, but the priority remains locating Riley.
As he said, I'm Sergeant Nielsen. I gave a briefing to our chain of command all the way up to Chief Drake yesterday. They're well aware of where we are with the investigation at this point, as well as the resources. We do have our boat going back in the water this afternoon, along with members of the Urban Search and Rescue team that will be combing the area, researching the area. It's been mentioned already today, and it's also been asked, things like, why was that card found and why didn't we find it? As Mr. Flagg pointed out, there's a lot of variables in these investigations, and if you've not been skilled or trained or experienced in these investigations, you don't understand a lot of these things. As Don Aaron put out the other day, when we start a missing person investigation, we're looking for a person, we're looking for a body. We're not looking for small pieces of evidence. Can we miss some things? Sure. But our primary goal is to find Mr. Strain and bring him home safely. Think of it like a large crime scene. A lot of times you have to deal with the victims first before you can go back and start looking for those precise pieces of evidence. Okay, that's kind of our focus here. We're looking for Mr. Strain, then we go back and look again. And because these two ladies over here were kind enough to volunteer their time and helped us by finding that, now we can do a more refined search with our Urban Search and Rescue, which is what they're going to be doing this afternoon. And as Mr. Flagg said, with a lot of volunteers, if you're coming down to volunteer, understand it is very treacherous terrain. That's why we're using Urban Search and Rescue and not just anyone on the street, because our people are trained, they're equipped, they have everything that they need to conduct these searches. You won't even see a patrol officer go to some of these areas that are more treacherous. Why? Because they don't have the rappelling equipment and things of that nature. So we're utilizing all the resources we can. We've also going to be reaching out to Office of Emergency Management. They've been helping us quite a bit. Over the weekend, they've been back out with a boat, divers, cadaver dogs. They run sonar. Our boat has sonar. It's the same stuff. People have asked about TBI. It's the same resources they have. So there's not been a need for us to get additional assistance from these other agencies. However, like Mr. Flagg, Cajun Navy, they have that experience. They want to volunteer their time. They've been very gracious and talking with us, saying they're going to help us out. Not a problem at all. But again, if you have a structured organization like United Cajun Navy, you have the safety protocols in place. You have the equipment and the resources to utilize to conduct that search, as well as to make certain everybody's safe doing that. We're going to continue to search. We're still filtering all the Crime Stoppers tips, as Detective Chandler said. I cannot stress enough the volume of information we've gotten. We've had people get frustrated with us because they'll call us, say, on a Monday, and they don't know why we haven't got back to them on Monday. And I've had to explain to them, we have to weigh every piece of evidence we get, or information rather, evenly. We can't just jump to the top, because quite honestly, there's a lot of tips that we're getting that are not tips. They mean well, but they're not tips. So we have to prioritize what's actually providing information. And some of the other things I have my detectives doing today is recanvassing the area for video. And while we don't think Riley may have been in any of these homeless camps away from this area, those are areas that we're going to be working on this afternoon ourselves. In regards to We've had questions about some of the behind the scenes things we're doing, search warrants, that kind of thing. Please understand it's an open investigation. We cannot share that information with the public because it's an open investigation. It can, if it were to turn into a criminal investigation, well, obviously now we're negatively impacting that situation. So please understand, if you call us and you're asking us questions, there may be some things we cannot answer, and it's to maintain the integrity of the investigation, as well as any potential evidence should there be a criminal component to it. I would also ask, as Mr. Flagg and everybody has, if you have questions for the family, you want to help the family, that's great. But please also respect their privacy. These kinds of incidents that happen, sometimes people with the best of intentions don't know the best way to approach people, and it can cause more stress for the family. So please be mindful of that.
One of the other things I wanted to make sure everybody understood, all the businesses and everybody we have asked for assistance as far as video or any other information, we have had absolute cooperation from everybody involved. There has never been a time to where anyone has had any issue in giving us any other information. To go along with what Mr. Flagg said, I know earlier I said this is not a criminal investigation this time. Should we uncover something that would change that, it's important that we go through one centralized source to where we know we can then change the manner in which we're searching and can start to conduct that in the proper manner. So if you do want to volunteer, we welcome all eyes to come help try to find Riley. But if we stumble across something to where we need to change the direction of the investigation, it is important that it's through one coordinated source and they're able to get the information back to us so we can adjust accordingly.
I think the only thing I would like to add before we open up the questions is one of the concerns people have called in multiple times about is that he was, Riley was being chased, he was being followed. We have seen no evidence of that. We've been through the video multiple times, and that is the reason why we released that body camera footage, because that officer had an interaction with him, and we've talked to other people that have indicated to us there was no injuries on Mr. Strain when they observed him, and there was no indication that he was running from anything or he was in fear. There's been a lot of misconceptions, a lot of misinformation out there, and we're putting out everything we can to dispel all of those misconceptions. We're happy to answer those questions, but again, people are taking what has already been put out, what the media's put out, and then putting their spin on it, calling back with Crime Stoppers tips that are not actually tips. They're their theory on what happened. We love people calling in and helping us, but we need actionable leads that we can follow up on. So please understand too, when you don't see us, like my detectives out in the field constantly, it's because we're trying to prioritize those tips that we're getting to find what's actually useful information that we can follow up on, because sometimes we get tips that we can't follow up on. It's just a statement somebody's making. So with that, you got a question, ma'am?
Yes, sir. So the credit card being discovered separated from wherever Riley is and potentially separated from his wallet. Some would say that could potentially go either way. Sure, maybe it just fell out and he didn't even realize, or maybe it was forcefully removed. So how do you decide which it is and which side to lean on, whether missing person versus criminal? A lot of folks would say, well, that could certainly indicate, or lay people would say, that could certainly indicate criminal activity.
Once we recovered the card, it was secured and processed properly to where it can be examined as far as going into a criminal matter at a later time if it's so needed.
How does the United Cajun Navy fit into NPD's command structure?
We pretty much allow our people with the emergency contingency section and USAR to coordinate with them because, we do cold case investigations. We don't handle that part. So our job is typically to get them in touch with them and let them coordinate between the two, because they have the knowledge and expertise. They know how to communicate with one another and schedule with each other what they're going to do, how they're going to do it. It would be kind of a moot point for us to step in the middle of that, other than to act as a liaison to get them in contact with one another. With one part of our department that handles like the urban search and rescue and the boat searches and everything, we get that unit in contact with Mr. Flagg.
So they're coordinating their actions.
That's what we're planning, because our resources are coming back out this afternoon, and that's kind of our goal is with Mr. Flagg here today, is get him in touch with the supervisors over in that unit so they can make that coordination.
And then at what point would your office decide to no longer continue the investigation?
Until we have no other actionable leads. But because we work cold case, continue working it until we just have nothing. And as new information comes in, we continue to pick it right back up and go right back to it. This is not going away. It's not going away anytime soon. And I have detectives that work cold case homicides that are decades old, and we continue to work on those. In fact, one of my detectives has been able to close 2 of them last year. So I say that to say this isn't going away. We keep going until we have absolutely nothing, no new tips, no traces of anything to follow up on. But until that happens, we're still going to be out here doing everything.
How would you describe the actionable leads in front of them?
In what regard?
You said we're going to.
I'm sorry, I forgot about the super chat. It would just be 13 seconds, you guys. Please bear
Never
with me.
answer to no, man, I still go, 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 yo, go.
Thank you. That was from my super chat. Thank you so much, Ashley.
Keep going until we have no action.
Meaning if somebody calls in with a theory, okay, that's one thing. But unless they're giving us information like a name, a location where they saw a suspicious person, thought they saw a piece of an item that belonged to Riley, that doesn't help us. So we have to filter through to look for the things they're saying. Hey, around this time I saw John Doe at this location. He might have been wearing a similar shirt, or maybe he was talking to Riley. That's actionable. That's something we can follow up on. We can look for video cameras in the area. But when they just say, I just saw a homeless guy in the area, that doesn't help us because it's nothing we can follow up on. Does that help?
So enough of those actual leads are still coming in. Right
Yes, sir.
now.
Yes.
Yes, sir. And actually, that's why we were late coming up here, is because we've been following up on more of those.
When we last heard from you guys on Thursday, you were still waiting on cell phone and Apple Watch data. Have you received all of that at this point? And if you have, what have you been able to find from it?
At this point right now, what we have originally from Apple is what we're working off of, and all of the location data is what we've already released. So at this point in time, that's the same information we're going to be working off of.
I have a simple question. On the video that I saw, a lot of people were around, and they could have done something to help this area. And maybe we should trust the Nashville, but if you see that happen, don't be afraid to help somebody. I mean, literally, on that video, I saw a lot of people that saw how drunk that guy was. It could have been stopped. Somebody could have said, hey, man, you need some help, okay? Especially once you see somebody falling.
You're 100% correct. And unfortunately, that is the state of our society
I know everybody's
today.
scared to help somebody.
And I agree with you 100%. Nashville population, if you see something, say something or do something.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Because I watched that and I'm like, nobody did anything to say, hey, man, this guy shouldn't be walking around.
Right, right.
So,
Any other questions?
God bless you guys.
Could you both say your name and spell it one more time in your title?
I'm Detective Anthony Chandler, Chandler.
I'm Sergeant Robert Nielsen, Nielsen. Metro Nashville Police Department, cold case unit. You had a question, sir?
Could you all just go over again what it is that you say that there's no sign of how they people doing an investigation at this time? Is it a lack of evidence to the contrary, or do you have other information that suggests that?
Well, right now it's a lack of any evidence of a crime being committed. A lot of people have come up to us with various items claiming that it's indicative of it. And please understand, as a supervisor, I've been working homicides for 10 years. He's been working for a long time as a detective. And we're skilled in criminal investigations. What, evidence can be, different possibilities, whether physical evidence, whether it's digital evidence or whatever. And if we don't have anything, like we don't at this point, that indicates that there's any indication of foul play, then if we go down that rabbit hole, then we're wasting resources and time from possibly looking for him, because now we're looking for evidence of a crime. And while we're open to the possibility it could be a crime, I mean, obviously there's always that possibility, right? But we haven't seen anything. And just because his bank card was found there, just because somebody heard something, until we have more to shore that up, we can't say that a crime occurred. So as soon as we have anything, if it exists, that indicates a crime occurred, assault or whatever the case may be, we immediately follow up on that. But we have to have evidence or probable cause. And a lot of people don't understand what probable cause is, but we have to have probable cause a crime even occurred. So that's why it's easy to jump to those conclusions. But that's where we have to tell people, this is why we don't do things at an accelerated rate. We have to do things methodically. Like Mr. Flagg and his team, they do methodical searches, right? Our urban search and rescue, they do methodical searches, because if we just jump to conclusions every single time, we could actually miss more evidence, whether there was a crime or not, but still evidence of where he'd been or what happened to him. If we're just running all over the place going, oh, a crime happened, but now we're not looking over here anymore. Does that make sense? Does that help? Not that I'm aware.
In which regard?
As far as physical evidence, is that the only?
No, outside the debit card,
sir.
that's the only physical evidence we have right now.
Oh, and somebody did find a phone, but I just want to put out there, it is not a phone that he had. He had an Apple phone. This was a Google Android phone. So I know that that's been a question that's come up as well. I just want to go ahead and clarify that.
So you said someone found a phone.
Yes, ma'am. They found it in the vicinity. They brought it to us immediately while we were out there Sunday. We did collect it just because we don't know who it belongs to. Don't know if it is in relation to this case, but right now it's not his phone. We know that because we know he had an Apple phone, Apple Watch. This was a Android device.
They were all on Broadway.
Given that there are so many search areas now, search crews, I'm sorry, that are now participating in this effort, are you positive? How positive are you that Riley is still in this vicinity?
Well, we're not, but we're searching everywhere. Last Friday, we got a call that they thought they saw him up towards the Titans practice field somewhere, and we went out there and looked. So we're not just limited to here, but when we have somebody go missing, you have to start with the last place they were seen. You can't be that you know for a fact that they were seen. You can't just go, well, I thought I saw him over here, because a lot of people think that the video cameras everywhere catches everything. We have people claiming there's video across, some of them don't reach this riverbank. So if we start searching over there on this side of the river, this is more good, because that's going to allow the people that are trained in doing searches to have a starting point and have more tangible things to look at, as opposed to just going around and speculating which areas he could be. Obviously, if we have something that leads us further down, we will. But right now, that's why the areas that they're focusing on is this immediate area, because we know for a fact that was his last known point of contact with anyone.
We know Riley's asking him tomorrow around 9:35. We've seen subsequent videos, but can you give us a timeline of where he was at on Broadway or other places in the city prior to the crime start?
Prior to that is he was here with his friends enjoying a night on Broadway. Our focus begins when he leaves from that location, and then he starts going up 3rd Avenue to Church Street and proceeds over the Gay Street corridor right below us, because that's where he went missing.
But there was a big question of whether or not he was overserved on Broadway. The Brian Park came out and said he had one. Were there other bars that he was at that you guys are looking into whether or not he was overserved?
We're pulling video surveillance from every location that we're aware that he was at. As far as this time right now, like I said, our focus is on locating Riley. Anything subsequent from that will be followed up once we've concluded that part.
And unfortunately, we're going to have to kind of end it there for us. We have some follow-ups we have to do right now, but our PIO office will definitely be putting out more information as we get it. The family, we've been in contact with them and updating them as soon as we can. So appreciate your time. And if you have any other questions in the meantime for our department, please focus them to our PIO for today. Thank you. No problem. Thank you, Mr. Flagg. Yes, sir.
Okay, so that was the news conference that the family put out today. And now we're going to go on to our best friend.
Deaf ear to this. Listen.
I haven't talked to my boy for over a week. And it's hard.
What do you say to somebody that gives up a part of their life to help you find your life? It's amazing.
Thank you for getting the word out and keeping the word out. And please don't stop sharing. Don't stop sharing till we bring Riley home. Please, just continue.
I've got such a bad feeling. Where is Riley? This kid scrubbed in sunshine. This is the boy every mom wants their boy to be like. Okay? The apple of his family's eye. You were hearing his mother begging and pleading, crying, trying to speak through tears, asking us to help. Tip line 615 862 8600. Repeat 615 862 8600. Now is the time for us to act in the search for Riley Strain. And I've got to tell you, 100, 1,000 times, mothers would come to me at trial and even now begging for help. But at trial, you have to keep a clear head, unclouded with emotion, and look at the facts in order to help the family. I want you to hear the original 911 call. Listen.
Who is it that you're wanting to report is missing?
We're here on a fraternity formal trip. It's one of my good buddies.
Okay. What is his name?
His name is Riley Strain. Riley, Riley, Strain, Strain.
Okay. Is he white, black, Hispanic, Asian?
He's white. 22-year-old, 6'5", blonde.
Okay. And what was he last seen wearing?
Outside of Luke Bryan's bar last night at like 10, and then the last time his location on his phone was by the sheriff's office at like 11 p.m.
Okay, and what colored clothing was he last seen wearing?
He's wearing jeans, boots, and a half black shirt, half brown, light brown.
You're hearing a good friend of Riley Strain's calling 911, and how ironic is that one of his last pings, the location on the phone, was at the sheriff's office, in front of, near, around the sheriff's office. No network or phone service since 9:53 p.m. Where is Riley? Joining me in all-star panel to make sense of what we know right now. I'm going to play you more of the 911 call, because I have learned with working with so many juries as a felony prosecutor, that takes you to the moment, and you can learn so much about probative facts that prove something, that help you find the person. But first, I want to go to a special guest joining us, Chris Dingman, a very dear family friend of the Strains, and you can find them on a GoFundMe at Riley Strain. Chris, thank you for being with us. What is the frame of mind of the family right now in the search for their son?
The family's completely devastated. You know, we're 10, 11 days into this. Really, Riley just disappeared in thin air. And we try to keep faith. We keep hope. The ironic part of not having clues means we have hope he's still there, lost. Somebody may know where he is. But it is truly devastating on the family.
And speaking of clues, we are going to be joined by the woman who may have found the single most important clue as of right now. Back to you, Chris Dingman, a very dear friend and spokesman for Riley's family. How did this whole thing unfold? When did Riley's parents discover he's missing? I mean, it's every parent's worst nightmare. You know, Chris, I work every day, sometimes holding down 2, sometimes 3 jobs, because I want to make a college fund for my children to get through high school, you know, give them tutors if they need it, get them to college, give them every opportunity that a lot of people, including myself, never had, to make it easier for them. So Riley gets to college. He's doing great. He makes friends in his fraternity. I think it was Delta Chi. Everything's going fine. He goes on their formal, which all the college kids do. And all of a sudden, mom gets a call. He's gone. I mean, how does that happen? You put all your love, all your energy, all your money, everything into helping your children. You think going to college is the thing to do, and bam, he's gone. What happened?
Yeah, the family was actually notified at about 10:30 Saturday morning by his fraternity brothers, wanting to know if they had heard from Riley because, as we all know now, he did not come back to his hotel room. The family instantly told the boys, please contact the police, go down to the police station. They started packing a few clothes together, constantly reaching out for Riley, hopped in a car and started heading that way. This process of reporting Riley missing started actually at 10:30 Saturday morning, and an official report that we have been shown didn't take place till 1:40, sometime in that area. That's how long it took for the boys to actually get somebody to file an official report with. A lot of confusion on why that took that, but yeah, the family was actually notified about 10:30 Saturday morning.
Okay, guys, you're hearing Chris Dingman joining us, a very dear friend of the Riley Strain family. Guys, I want to hear more of that 911 call. They were heading straight out to Dryden Quigley, WSMV 4 investigative report, very latest. But
And you said it last showed outside the sheriff's department?
Like around that area by the river, by the sheriff's department over there.
Okay. Does he have any life-sustaining medications or disabilities?
No.
You said he has a phone, so it's a cell phone, right?
Yeah, it's an iPhone 15 Pro Max.
What is the number?
But it's hold on. All right, you ready?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay.
You said the last four were 4198?
Yes.
Okay. And are you going to be waiting there at the door precinct, or are you going to be waiting in your car?
I mean, yeah, we're at the front door of the precinct.
Okay. I've got the call sent there at the Central Precinct, 601 Korean Veterans Boulevard in downtown, right across the Music City Center. We'll get an officer out to you as soon as we can. Please call us back if something changes before they arrive.
so when you look back on everything that happens in every case, you think woulda, coulda, shoulda. They should have done the report earlier. We should have this. We should have that. Bottom line, Riley Strain is missing. His parents asking us for their help. Again, tip line 615-862-8600. So, Chris Dingman, you're telling me that the mom and or dad get a message the following morning at 10-ish a.m. They ask the fraternity brother, quick, go, report him missing right now, and they head to the area. Is that correct?
Yes. They were in Springfield, Missouri, where Riley was born and raised, and that's where we are. And instantly, when a parent gets that message, you're mortified. What's going on? Especially when you're 6 or 7 hours away from your kid. And they hopped in a vehicle, threw some clothes together, was constantly trying to reach out to Riley on their journey there with unfortunately no response.
Oh, cool. You know what that's reminding me of, Chris Dingman? I'm in New York, where we live with the children. At that time, they were about, 8, 9 years old. Had just gotten them to bed and get a call. My dad is on life support. I get one sentence off to him, Daddy, I'm on the way. Within 15 minutes, we were out on the street in pajamas trying to hail a cab, all right? And the whole way trying to get back home to Macon, Georgia, just in fits, tied up in knots. I can only imagine what Riley's parents were going through as they drove all the way to where he goes missing. And speaking for Dryden being with us, first of all, describe the area where we believe Riley went missing. And guys, I'm about to go to the woman who has found what could be the single most important physical clue yet. Go ahead, Dryden.
So the last place that he was spotted on the video camera is kind of up a street, and it's going along the Cumberland River, where there's a pretty steep drop off down there. Different areas have steeper than other parts, but you can last see him crossing this street and kind of heading up towards under these two bridges where he's last seen.
You know, I'm very curious. Is it true, Dryden Quigley, WSMV4, that Riley was headed toward a homeless encampment?
A Street and Cumberland River, there's this bank, and it is where a lot of people spend the night and sleep along there, and then under the two bridges as well. Yes.
What people? What people? What Boy Scout campers? Who is staying out there?
So, you know, there's a lot of trash down there too, and so that comes into play later when looking for Riley's possessions too.
Is it true that drugs are used in that area by the homeless people?
Well, yeah.
I can't say that for sure. I haven't seen it
Obviously.
myself, but I would believe it's possible. Yeah.
So, did he realize he's headed for an encampment of homeless people where drugs apparently are used openly, as we have seen now developing across the country? Guys, we've been playing the 911 calls. We're telling you the very latest of what you know, but now I want you to hear from a volunteer searcher, Brandy Bainan, who lives in Nashville and possibly has found the single most important physical clue yet. I'm so grateful Brandy could speak to us. First of all, listen to what she tells us regarding what she was looking for when she found the clue.
We were looking for either his boots, shirt, he has a bright blue wallet, any of those indications. But we went down to the embankment and walked along the river until we got to underneath the bridge, which is one of the last known vicinities that he was in. And we started just digging around, rummaging as much as we can. And I want to say we were there into that part for maybe 20 or 30 minutes. And there's about 3 ledges, and I'm the third bottom ledge, which it's very hard to explain, so I'm sorry if that is hard to imagine. And I saw a card right there and flipped it over to look at the backside because it was just like the bank on the front, and saw his name, and she goes, "Oh my God, we found his card." And I was like, "No, we didn't." And right there, we were both instantly shocked, our stomachs dropped, and then we were both like, we have to keep going. Like, this means we have to keep going.
I can't imagine what went through everyone's minds when they realized they have found evidence. Liz, we actually have video and sound of that discovery. Everybody listen.
I don't think they do right here, or at least where that guy's tent is, because he's talking about how cold. What? You found his credit card? We found his credit card. We gotta hang up. We gotta hang up the phone. Oh my God.
Guys, I'm just trying to take in that moment where they find the piece of evidence. And I want to make something very, very clear. Chris Dingman, this young boy, Riley Strain, has no history at all ever of drug use. Never has been thrown out of school, never has been in treatment, never, not even a disorderly conduct, crossing the street, jaywalking, nothing. Isn't that true, Chris Dingman?
100%. Yeah, Riley was a straightforward kid. You know, we've had a lot of people question us and go, I can't believe he's that good of a kid. And all you have to do is ever be just a little bit of his life, just a blimp, meet him anywhere. And you instantly knew that the pictures that everybody's been sharing with him smiling, that truly was that kid. He was an awesome boy, and we want him back, and he is an awesome boy.
You know, you just brought me to tears because it reminds me so much of my son, John David. People are always saying, how can one kid be so good-natured and so joyful? I mean, you know what his nickname is here at the house? Awesome. His nickname is Awesome. And just thinking about him, completely innocent. I mean, Dr. Bethany Marshall joining me, high-profile psychoanalyst joining us out of LA, and you can find her at drbethanymarshall.com. Dr. Bethany, when I talk about this homeless encampment and how drugs allegedly are being openly sold and used. This is not about Riley going down to get drugs. He has no history of that at all. Zero. He was out with his friends on the fraternity formal weekend. He wanders off alone, and this is where his bank card is found. It's like a lamb being led to the slaughter, Dr. Bethany.
Exactly. Nancy, it sounds to me like Riley was extremely disoriented. He thought he was going back to his hotel room. He no longer had his friends with him, and he was simply walking the wrong direction, and he walked right into the jaws of danger. I mean, what happens in these homeless encampments is that they are communities, Nancy, and everybody in the homeless encampment tends to know each other. They watch out after each other. They sometimes exchange food. They look after each other's kids. They're like little tiny cities. So when Riley walked into this situation,
What in the hell are you talking about, woman? I mean, Dr. Bethany, this is not a commune where they're raising organic food and singing Kumbaya every night. God bless them for their misfortune, but there are drugs being openly sold, hard drugs, needle drugs. Bethany, I don't know what world you're coming from.
Well,
But
Nancy,
you
my
send
family had a
kid
ministry
straight out
working
of
with the
high
homeless
school
for
down
many
there.
years.
I know that.
No,
I
Nancy,
work
it's
with the
very
homeless too.
dangerous.
But
I
the
know
last
it
thing
is
I'm going to do is
dangerous.
send John, David, and Lucy under a bridge.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, what I was going to say was that the fact that he was not a part of this group and he walked in made him extremely vulnerable. It was a very precarious situation walking into a group of desperate people. And this is like a child, like a little lamb being led to the slaughter. He did not know what he was getting into.
Guys, I want to circle back to what we know. Again, a volunteer searcher who spends her own valuable private time helping in the search for Riley has found a very significant piece of physical evidence. It's Brandy Bainan, volunteer searcher, and I want you to hear what she has to say about why Brandy is searching for Riley.
I personally started going out Tuesday night. I went out Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I was doing some TikTok lives with a friend while I was searching because I was kind of going on my own. And Anna happened to see one of those TikTok lives, and she messaged me and asked if she could come join the next day, and she did. And that gave me the ability to be able to go all the way down to the embankment because I couldn't just do it with myself in case something were to happen. No one would know, or my friend on TikTok wouldn't really be able to help me. So Anna was brave enough to go down with that with me. And so we went searching and we happened to find something.
There is no way in HELL, no way in HELL that Riley Strain, did you hear what she just said? That she didn't know if she was brave enough to go down the slope into that area. She was afraid, and that is in broad daylight. And here walks in Riley into this area late at night. What happened to him? Where is he? I need to get a clearer picture about exactly where the bank card was found. Let's listen to Brandy Bainan.
It was in the embankment. So there was like there's a brick wall because there is so we're underneath the bridge. So then if you're up on the sidewalk, there's a fence and there's a brick wall that comes down if you're under the embankment then. And then that brick wall kind of turns into some mud and rocks, trees, and then that goes into another ledge, similar ledge, which goes into another one, which then goes into rocks, which then turns into the river. So it was in that third little ledge of mud, dirt, and then you have to, and right now in Nashville, it is full of garbage there. So we were actually rummaging through trash, absolute trash, everything that you can imagine, including things that were dangerous to us, like we saw some needles and things like that.
Yeah, Bethany, the peace-loving people down under that bridge and their hypodermic needles, it'd be a cold day in hell before I would let my children go down there. And here's Riley Strain. I mean, he's basically straight out of high school, and there he goes. But hold on. I'm just trying to get an understanding about what Brandy Bainan is saying, because from what she's describing, there is no way that that bank card of Riley Strain's could have fallen in that location. Let me understand.
No.
Listen what Brandy Bainan says about the card's location.
I personally do not think that that card could have landed there from just like stumbling and losing a card out of your hand, because it would have had to go down a few ledges. Now, it has been some time that's passed since the 8th, and then we did have rain on the exact week after that Friday. So I don't know what that would do at all, if that would affect it at all. But when we found the card, it wasn't actually covered up that much. There was some leaves, and she saw the blue in it.
Guys, we're trying to determine the significance of the location of Riley Strain's bank card. And I have a reason for doing this. I remember in one murder case, and the guy was a serial killer, but I could get him on one case. It was Jane Doe. And I found one of her earrings in a particular location. And the fact that it was there proved volumes to me. I learned that that was a tertiary crime scene, which led me then to the secondary and the primary crime scene because of that one earring. Now let's think what this bank card means. Liz, if you don't mind, I'd like to see the video with the sound again of when they find the bank card. Let's watch that.
I don't think they do right here, or at least where that guy's tent is, because he's talking about how cold. What? You found his credit card? We found his credit card. We gotta hang up. We gotta hang up the phone. Oh my God.
Did you see that terrain? Did you see those rocks? Riley Strain was not going on a leisurely stroll amongst these rocks down by the river. That did not happen. And back to Dryden Quigley joining us, investigative reporter WSMV4 Nashville. I understand that one of the homeless gentlemen that was there claims that he heard a quote commotion around the time we believe Riley Strain may have been there. What can you tell me about that, Dryden?
So I didn't speak with that homeless person myself, but it has been reported that yes, during around that time, he heard a commotion after he saw Riley walk through there. That's all he said about it or was reported about it, but I didn't speak with him myself.
Also, emerging in the search for Riley Strain is surveillance video. But first, I want to ask Chris Dingman. Chris, very dear family friend of the Strain and speaking for them. Chris, what is the reaction from the parents regarding the discovery that Braden made of the bank card?
I'm extremely happy you're asking me that. I actually had friends of the family that was very close to the young ladies when they found it. I got a phone call Sunday afternoon. They were super excited. They go, "We found his card." And I said, "Can you go to them?" They were within about 100 yards of each other. And she said, "Yeah." And I said, "Do me a favor." I said, "I know the bank that Riley uses. Unfortunately, and you've dealt with this a lot, there are a lot of people that will do fake cards, fake IDs, and throw them in crime scenes just to be cruel." And I notified the family. The young ladies instantly took a picture of the card, sent to me. I knew at that moment that's Riley's card. I contacted the family, said, "Hey, this is the pinpoint. They've dropped me a pin." One of the young ladies, I asked her, I said, "Please dial 911. I'm going to get a hold of the family." The other person that contacted me, she was actually in a close proximity of some police that were actually there with canines and had been searching the area a little bit farther away. I told her, I said, "Please go get the police, take them directly to those young ladies. We need to secure that area." And the young girls, as you've kind of heard in their voices, they were just ecstatic. They were nervous. They were scared. And I told her, I said, I need you to do something for me, please. I said, you're about to be bombarded with 100+ people. You guys were live on TikTok. Everybody kind of has a ballpark idea where you are. I need that crime scene secured. Please, if people come up there, tell them to stand back till the police get here so we can do a formal investigation in that exact area. One thing that struck out to me, I don't know if you have physically seen the picture of the card, and I'm glad the young lady brought that up and we discussed this. That card is not dirty. It's not filthy. For a card that had been laying on the ground for 9 days, not in the water or even remotely close to the water, in essence, to the storms that they had, there's constant moisture down there. There's constant wind flow down there. And there was no visible signs of, the Frisbee. The kids leave the Frisbee out in the yard. 2 days later, you go out, it's covered in dew and little dirt particles. That seemed to me to be very, very strange. So I would love to see your take on that.
I find that very interesting, the point that you're bringing out, that the card was not weathered at all. Joining me is Steve Fisher, missing persons private investigator, search and rescue specialist, owner of Search Investigations. Find it at searchinvestigations.org. Steve Fisher, thank you for being with us. What does that tell you? I find it very probative.
I think one thing that's important to realize is that the river levels at 10 p.m. Night he went missing were 7 feet higher than when.
Right before, that's SF Investigates. Right before he came on, I was going to say that. I saw he put on Twitter that the day he went missing, the water level was 7 feet higher than it was when them girls found his bank card. And I guess he'll explain it more in depth now, but I did read that on his Twitter.
The women found the card. So the water level was significantly higher, which is why you see the different color, the darker rocks. So it's a controlled river. They had let a lot of, outflow out of it. So that could have been submerged and simply the water level coming down, and that would account for why the card is so clean and where it's at.
Hold on. Steve Fisher, what about the fact, as we just heard from Braden, that it was wedged in, it didn't get there innocently?
From what I understand, I did watch the video of when they uncovered it. I think it was under some a little bit of debris, and we'll never know for certain. But in search and rescue, we're looking for the last known position, and it's the same spot that the cell phone last pinged at on Life 360. Originally told it was 50 to 100 feet south on the south side of that bridge, which is right where this card ended up also. So I think there's a likelihood that it just could be the water flow is the reason that it was found on the embankment.
Ben Powers is joining us, high-profile lawyer out of Nashville, and you can find him at legalpowers.com. Ben Powers, thank you so much for being with us. What can you tell us about your knowledge of the case and your insight into what's happening right now?
Well, so right now it sounds like the investigation has locked in a really narrow timeline of how that evening went, from being removed from the bar to the various surveillance footage, to the ping from the cell phone, all the way to the debit card down at the riverbank. The debit card at the riverbank is curious because it's not with his wallet. There's no other possessions with him, and it was found amongst what we might call trash. But since it is a homeless encampment, that could be personal possessions of someone that lives down there. Maybe they were trying to discard the debit card, or maybe there's no foul play at all. It's a little too early to try to make a determination one way or the other as to that type of conclusion. But the investigation has been very thorough. They've used canines, they've used sonar, they've used helicopters, they've used drones, volunteers as the volunteers that found the debit card. So it is a very thorough, extensive investigation. It's just that this narrow time frame is so curious because they have him on video going down Gay Street, but they don't have him on video at the courthouse, which is just at the other end of the Gay Street where the video last saw him. And they have an officer.
Did y'all see him running full or sprint Let me see. Okay, look, that's him right here by the white sticks. Watch.
They're into the Gay Street where the video last saw him.
And bam, he
And
falls.
they have an officer that was on scene investigating a claim of vehicle burglary. He didn't hear or see anything out of the ordinary. And they do have one of the benefits of that homeless encampment is, as has already been stated, there's at least one witness that heard some commotion, but that's a relatively large community down there. So I suspect that there's other witnesses that just haven't come forward yet with what may have happened that evening.
Well, luckily in this case, we also have grainy surveillance video that is emerging. Guys, I want you to see the most recent surveillance video we have. Dryden Quigley, we see, okay, hold on just a moment. Guys, this is the most recent video surveillance that we have obtained to Dryden Quigley, WSMV4. What are we seeing?
So we're looking right now at Metro Police's body-worn camera. He's out there responding to what I believe was a burglary call, and he runs into Riley. As you can see, Riley's walking by him right there, and he greets him. He says hi. Now Riley keeps walking down that street, and just a few feet away, you can actually see the bridge in the video. That's where Riley's phone last pinged. Now, the officer was there for another 45 minutes, and he says he didn't hear anything out of the ordinary. But yeah, you can see it right there. That bridge over there is the last spot that Riley's phone went off. But it took until today or yesterday to have this video come out.
Guys, there's Riley right there on the left. Riley right there on the left. He's coherent. Everything's fine. He's speaking to the officer. The officer looks like he's doing a safety check in a parking lot, just poking around late at night. Let's start it from the beginning again. I want to see everything. Okay, there's Riley. He's walking normally. He's not drunk. He's not on drugs. He's wearing the clothes that were described by his friends. Is he walking toward or away from the bridge, Dryden Quigley?
He is walking towards it. He kind of turns around, so it's hard to see. But yes, Riley's on his way towards that first bridge.
Okay. What would be on the other side of the bridge, Dryden?
So there are two bridges, actually, but between them and down the side, there are usually people either sleeping under the bridge or down the side, again, of the embankment, very close to where his credit card was found.
So you're telling me that the homeless encampment was down the side of that bridge toward which he is headed?
Yes.
Okay. Have there ever been ambushes there of people crossing the bridge or approaching the bridge at night that we know of?
No, not that I know of. No.
Guys, you are seeing the location where Riley Strain's bank card was found. There is the bridge. Now, I want you to see other surveillance that we've obtained from that night. Now, all of the surveillance together paints a picture. There's Riley walking. He's walking uphill. He's leaning forward a little bit. There you go. Uh-oh, he just staggered. Okay, keep going, Riley. Keep going. That's earlier that evening. There he is. He stops at the corner, turns, and there he is right there. He's jogging. Oops. He's jogging along and he trips. Why was he jogging? What was he running away from or toward? There you see him getting up. We've got it highlighted for you. And look to your right. Look to your right. Eyes on the right. You see what we think is a homeless person walking by in a hood. Here comes Riley. Look, he waits for the vehicle and he crosses the street. Watch his gait. Watch Riley. He's walking along with the other people. Is he walking normally? Okay, he's standing right there at the crosswalk. He does a circle and he keeps walking. Why is he alone? Where is he going? To Chris Dingman, what, if anything, do we know? Where was he headed?
And I can help you out with a lot of your questions.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the way the videos released to us that day is kind of the way that you have laid them out just then. What we do know is the one video where Riley is running through the parking lot and falls down, that is the first video of those three.
Right.
There was an altercation in that intersection. You'll see right here, Riley comes behind the food truck. There was an altercation with two gentlemen in that intersection. We think Riley was walking up to it, saw the altercation, and decided to go around the back of the food truck, and that's why he was at a little bit of a faster gallop per se. The family, we have personally been to that food truck and look at their footage. That's how we know. Initially people were thinking Riley was attacked in that intersection. He was not. We think the reason Riley started to run a little bit is one of the people in the altercation started running back towards, and if you'll look back towards the left, there's a fire truck coming up the road. We think one of the people that was in the altercation took off running behind the food truck towards the fire truck. And that's why Riley just microseconds, wow, I need to move. That's why he started running behind the truck. The second video is where he's walking along the wall. It's kind of a dark area. You'll notice he keeps reaching up towards the back of his body. The first video, unfortunately, when Riley goes down, there's a concrete pole for that parking lot, and Riley went into it aggressively. He went shoulders and then hit his head into that as he was going down. In that video, he's there for.
Teresa said she saw it on her big screen TV and he hit that thing hard with his face.
1, 2, 3, 4 seconds before he gets himself and his bearings back up. The video too, that's why we think at first we thought maybe he was trying to take his phone to his ear, but after putting the pieces together in order, Riley, was probably rubbing his neck and shoulders from hitting the concrete barricade. That part there where he's walking, the next video where he's crossing the street where the construction barricade is, he walks right along the construction barricade. Whatever happened with, him hitting his shoulders and neck as he's coming through here, I think he kind of comes out of the ethers, we say, when you have an abrupt movement against your body, because his body motions go back towards more normal. The fourth video and the last video that we have of anything seeing Riley will be the police video. So I just wanted to help you guys with that and put it in progression so people would understand the timeline. The wild part, and the young lady from Nashville with the media, I think this is all within about a 5-minute window and very close proximity of each other of these videos as they go by.
I know right now, Steve Fisher joining us from searchinvestigations.org. There has been no additional cell phone activity or bank card, credit card activity since Riley went missing. What does that tell you?
Well, I mean, that would tell me that everything stopped right there. And as we're looking at surveillance is what literally every case comes down to. And one thing I think is important in this, and I'd like Chris to know is, right across the river is pretty thoroughly covered. You got the Tennessee Titans stadium, and then you got a Marathon Oil facility. And I've been dealing with the Titans. They did not capture anything. However, the Marathon facility, I talked to the head of security there on Sunday. They had not been contacted by law enforcement. Their barges are literally right across from where that debit card was found, and they have a lot of surveillance because they got to protect that facility against people coming in from the water. So I was in touch with her. They were going to pull all the footage on Monday morning. I let the detective know. He didn't get back to me, but then communication stopped. So I think there was a halt put to that. But I would just want Chris to know that I think there is significant surveillance available right across the river.
So we need that barge video pronto.
Yes. I was supposed to have it.
Dr.
I was supposed
Beth,
to get that Monday. Yeah.
Dr. Bethany Marshall joining us, psychoanalyst out of LA at drbethanymarshall.com. Dr. Bethany, so often citizen investigations, tips are discounted, but if it weren't for citizen sleuths, we would never have found Gabby Petito. That would never have happened. She was out in the middle of nowhere, literally dispersed camping. In this case, a private citizen finds the bank card, and I believe there are more people that can tell us where is Riley. I believe that. So why is that not happening?
You know, Nancy, I was just thinking about Gabby Petito. It was people who were influencers, who were crowdsourcing information. In some ways, Nancy, they were more motivated to solve the crime than the police were. The police see so.
Thank you. Leave these TikTokers and YouTubers alone and let them help.
Much, they can become jaded, overwhelmed, maybe they're understaffed. I don't know, I can't speak to that. But in terms of crowdsourcing information, people care about Riley Strain. They see this blonde, good-looking young man, educated, from a family who loves him, and they want to know what happened. So I'm wondering, are the police plumbing this very rich source? Are they asking other people what happened? Because this is where a lot of clues could be found.
Guys, you're seeing shots of Riley with his family. Again, the tip line is 615-862-8600. If you know or think you know anything about the disappearance of this young man, literally scrubbed in sunshine, please call 615-862-8600. All of our efforts, thoughts, and prayers with Riley Strain and his family now. Goodbye, friend.
They have one more. It says Missing Raleigh Strain after show, and it's only 8 minutes. So I just saw it before I went live, so I was gonna just open it and see if maybe it says something different than what we already heard.
Is there anything you want to add that we left out?
I want to share something with this group, and we can talk if you guys have questions. I know we're playing chess right now. Nancy understands that too more than anybody. Marathon, I reached out to Marathon the Tuesday after Riley went missing to put in context of how much this ball's been dropped at that area. The fact that you reached out also and said, hey, we've never even, heard of anything. I want to share something with you guys, and Nancy, I love your passion and you're a mama bear, but I've been in contact with Riley's, and I'm calling her his lady friend. She shared some stuff with me last night, which I'm sharing with the family. She and Riley had a private conversation, and Riley told her, he goes, you're my favorite person. And she goes, really? And he goes, no, wait a minute. You're my second favorite person. And she goes, well, okay, well, who's your favorite? And he goes, my mom.
Aw.
So, yeah, that's the kid we're looking for. I appreciate everything that you guys are doing. So just keep doing it. We'll find Riley.
What time was that? What time was that?
What we know and we have put together, the last ping that the phone did, we think that is the last conversation, and she is the last person to have any correspondence with him. She had asked him if he was having a good time, and he had responded with good lots, LOPS, which was really confusing for her. She's young, and she's like, wow, new slang. I don't. So her and her mom actually Googled it.
He's probably writing lots, LOTS.
Well, but the funny part with Riley, if you ever communicated with his phone, the kid was extremely punctual, even if he had a few beers in him. Exclamation points, emojis. I mean, he was a very punctual kid, a very intelligent kid. So that correspondence really was odd that that was said. But we're
Could you tell me one more time what it said?
sure.
I want to make sure I understand. What?
It said good, LOPS, lots. which
Did he ever
we
dictate
don't
into
know.
his phone? Did he ever dictate the
No,
message? So
no.
he would have typed that. And he was on
Oh,
foot
he was.
at night
Yes.
walking. I would think that
Yep.
meant good, lots of fun. I'm very intrigued by what
It's
he
very
was
interesting, but
saying
yeah,
when he
Riley would
talked
have
to
finished it.
her.
Yeah.
He seemed to have his wits about him. Chris, what do you think about this homeless encampment? And I heard Dr.
Yeah,
Bethany
yes.
talking about how peace loving and sharing the homeless community is. I'm not necessarily agreeing with that, but
What I
what
can
do the
tell you
parents think
is
about that?
we actually have 2 volunteers that have literally been sleeping in the homeless camps that were not homeless, to give you an idea of what we are going to and the outpouring of people. And it, as a dad, it scares the crap out of me that they're there. We've got their phones pinged, they're doing recordings. Yes, I think there's extremely viable information there. This is information for everybody in this group at the moment. The crazy thing is when the TikTok crew hit there, they were already coming to Nashville to protest what the House had done, trying to ban TikTok. We had no idea that there was that huge of a group of TikTokers. They had picked Nashville to come to Nashville to protest, signs and everything. I was blessed to get in touch with 3 or 4 of them, and wow, here we are. It just, I made the comment, we're bigger than Tiger King during Corona. We do have people that are physically in the camps. There are a few people of interest that the police are aware of and they are looking for, but homeless people, 99% of them do not want to be found. They don't want to be bothered, and
What did you just
don't
say?
want
Police
people.
are looking for who?
People are looking, the police are looking for a few homeless people that we do have questions for. The young lady from Nashville iterated that, one of the homeless interviews had yelled back up the hill to the gentleman, hey, what's going on? And he goes, nothing, it's a drunk guy. We have the name of that gentleman and we are looking for him. What happened, unfortunately, when everybody went to that specific area, and we have a very limited ground zero for information, a lot of those homeless that was there that evening dispersed and went to other homeless camps in Nashville because they didn't want the press, didn't want to be talked to, didn't want to be seen. We've been blessed with the homeless people that we have been in contact with, though. They know where those camps are. They've given us names of specific people that they knew was in that street or that area or that exact camp. There's actually I'm not sure they're a married couple, but they are a couple that was just down from there about 10 feet. The young lady from Nashville, she'll know the couple I'm talking about probably. They're the ones that, yelled back up. But we have names. But right now we're just trying to find which camp they went to and what direction they went to. So that
I understand that
with the
2
debit card.
groups of homeless encampments state that they saw Riley.
Yes. Somebody had mentioned about across the river at the Titan Stadium. That is actual Tent City.
Yeah.
To give you a demographic, what is where we were at and where Riley was last seen at is and I don't want to be disrespectful. It's more of the Beverly Hills of the homeless community in that area. It is the more organized groups, the organized people, the less offensive, etc. That's not saying that there's not people there that over in Tent City, and this is literally from our people that are staying in the camps at the moment.
Chris, let me
Tent
understand
City
something. You're
is,
saying that the homeless people on the other side of the bridge are saying that they saw him?
no, but the other people on the other side of the bridge where the marathon holding facility is, that is a way more Wild West style homeless camp. That
Did
is
they
where.
see him?
So just to be clear on that, so these cameras are trained out over the river to protect against threats of people coming from the river into the facility, and same with the Titan Stadium. So we were looking at cameras that actually look under that bridge. And Chris, because she's the one who has access to all of the counter cameras that are on the bar, that are on the dock itself. If not, I can give you her cell phone number. I think.
Perfect. Do that. Where we're at is I'm still based in Springfield, but I've been media for a long time. And what we've done is we've created Riley's War Room. And we're doing exactly this. In the mornings when we wake up, we're at lunchtime, and then we come home in the evenings, and we put together everything that we found with our contacts. We actually have a burner phone inside the homeless community right now. Guys, we're trying everything we can, but the marathon deal was extremely
Did you
frustrating
tell
for us.
me that, Chris, did you tell me that you have 2 people that have embedded themselves in the homeless community right now trying to find out information, staying there overnight?
Yeah, yeah, which is just phenomenal, but it's extremely dangerous not knowing the people they're with.
I was going to say too, Chris, you
What
talked
about
about a
the
little
4
bit
cameras?
police dropping the ball a tiny bit, because it was 2 TikTokers again who found the card. And we asked police, you know, why weren't you the ones to find it if you combed through the area? But they said they were only looking for clothes and for a body. And so it's, yeah.
Yep. Guys, thank you for the additional information.
Like we said, I'm trying to be a buffer with the family, so we still have a rapport with the police department, but I'm just far enough excluded from the family. I want answers. Everybody here wants answers.
Guys, thank you for being with us. We'll stay on it.
You can't just vanish into thin air. It's got to be somewhere. Found Vancouver. Find him. And all the talk about homeless encampments and them sleeping down there, I live less than a mile from a homeless camp. And it's in the desert. There's no water. There's no embankments. There's none. It's flat ground. And they just have their tents out there. And they don't bother a soul. So I wish people would also stop talking about the homeless people like that. Really? I also want to know why I heard that this homeless guy had on a dirty hoodie, but had on Riley's clean black and white shirt we see him wearing in these videos. Why was a homeless man wearing that shirt underneath a dirty hoodie, a clean shirt? I want to know. I'm not going to say anything about law enforcement. I could not touch anything that they're doing. That's their job. They're doing their job. Some have leads that, you know, come off faster with results than others. And it's just a waiting game. I just don't like that they had the cold case out there talking with the parents out there, the supervisor of the cold case. Let's say I was puking and took the shirt off. Oh, okay. Well, when? After he saw the cop at the truck that was broken into? He had a shirt. Oh, okay. I don't know, you guys. This story is just crazy. Like, you just don't vanish. He's somewhere. Just like Sebastian. Where are they? Oh. I wonder if... No, I'm not going to speculate anything. Just saying, you know, the hypodermic needles and all the drugs and stuff that they do out there, accidentally falling on something or touching something the wrong way. I really don't think he was doing drugs, you guys. In my opinion, I don't. They said he had one beer at that bar. I think he was kicked out of, but they never said if he had anything to drink before that. Anywhere else. I don't know. If he wouldn't have fell into that stupid sign thing or whatever, I really don't think he would have ever looked out of the norm. Because after that, he was walking fine, like when he saw the policeman, when the policeman saw him, said hi, everything was fine. I mean, it was a policeman. If he needed help, he was right there. I just don't get it. I don't understand. And you guys pray for this family. Oh my God, this mama breaks my heart in two. Just watching her. Teresa, I thought of something of that nature, but not exactly that. But I don't know why. Why would he's an intelligent guy in college, in a fraternity, making good grades, no telling, what he's going to be whenever he gets out of college. Why? Why would you let a homeless person adopt you to take care of you? Like you have it seems like a wonderful life, with your home and everything else. Like, I just don't understand why he would do that. But it did cross my mind. You're not the only one. In my opinion, homeless stay to themselves unless their stuff gets messed with. Yep, they do around here anyway. And I tell you what, since the weather is getting warmer, they're out on the streets. I tell you what, every single street corner has a homeless person with a sign. Every single one of them. If it's a four-way, guess what? They got 4 of them. And I'm not playing. And some of them have dogs. And those dogs are so skinny. And when I moved here, they had a big bag of dog food that I won't give Penelope because she's true Teresa. And possibly even from hitting that sign, right? Because you said he hit it pretty hard. I didn't see it on a TV screen like you did. But if he hit his head that hard, maybe so. Anyway, so let me tell you what they're doing with the homeless people here. I'm not happy about this at all. They are giving homeless people tiny houses, little bitty tiny houses that are like smaller than a shed. But guess what? It has a roof, has a shingle roof. It has siding on it. It has a window unit. It has everything they need to go hide in there, do their drugs in the air conditioner, and whatever else they want to do, and the government's going to pay for it. They're not paying for it. Pretty neat, huh? Pretty neat when we have all these other people suffering. How about you stand on side of the road and hand out your resume? Maybe that'll work. Y'all have a great evening. Thanks for watching with me. If you haven't hit the thumbs up yet, please do. If you, yes, Snake, I'm so drove about. I'm not even going into it anymore because, yeah, it upsets me a lot. Hit that thumbs up for me if you haven't. Thank you for watching with me. Share and subscribe, and I'll see you another night. Goodbye, everyone.